following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Sounds like 30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and Young Guns Billy Derrick and Michael Sindrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in on a beautiful Thursday in Nashville, Tennessee. I am here to tell you we have a great show for you today. An interview at 4:20 with Scott Reynolds from the Pewter Report talking Tampa Bay that you need to hear because it's got some info about Tom Brady that is going to have you going, what about that? Anyway, 4:20, you need to be watching the show. Let me very quickly get into the meat of what we're doing. Let's head up to the plateaus. Say hello to Coach Watson Brown. Watson, how are you?
George, I'm doing great. You're nice and you're pretty green, and it's kind of an updated shirt. It looks like a 2000s kind of shirt, you know? So
wow.
Good to see.
Yeah. Can I be honest?
Yeah.
It's a freebie.
Duh. Duh.
And you over there making little snide comments. This is uncalled for.
Oh, George, my camera's not working.
Good. You deserve that.
You're probably
apparently mine at the moment isn't either.
Oh, wow. You're probably happy about that. I'll have to fix that.
You know what? We'll make it happen. Okay, we got to get right into it. The Titans and the Tampa Bay Bucks in day 2 of their practice sessions. And Terry McCormick was there earlier today. Terry, what is that shirt?
Philadelphia Stars, USFL's shirt. There you go.
Can we see a little more of it?
Breaking it out of the mothballs there. There you go, George.
Oh, my God. Talking about an old freebie.
George, you got to bring out your Birmingham Stallions shirt.
You know, they gave us one, and I didn't think it was worth anything, so I gave it to one of the ushers. So, Terry, first of all, tell me about the fight.
Well, I came right at the very end of practice, right after the last play of practice. It was interesting. Jeffrey Simmons had gotten into a little shoving match earlier in one of the team periods with one of the guards for the Bucks. And then after the practice was over, Leonard Fournette took it upon himself to rush up to Henry and to Simmons and kind of throw a punch at him. And that didn't sit well with Jeffrey. And so everybody gathered there to try and break it up or get involved. Mike Vrabel made sure that he got involved to break it up, and he was not happy afterwards with what happened.
Those are two big men. I wouldn't want to mess with either one of them.
I especially wouldn't want to throw a punch at Jeffrey Simmons. That's not very wise.
No. So I know you watched offense yesterday for the Titans, and today I'm guessing your focus was more on the defense where they really looked good.
Yeah, I'm focused on the defense today, and they did look pretty good. They had some issues occasionally against the run early on that Vrabel addressed, that he was not happy with. But Caleb Farley, who had a rough day yesterday, really stood out today. He had an interception in the 2-minute period. He had 2 consecutive pass breakups in that drill. And then he also had a nice breakup in the end zone in the 7-on-7 red zone drill. The only blemish against him was on a wheel route. He did give up a touchdown to a Tampa Bay receiver, Tompkins, I believe. But the guy went down and made a nice catch on the play.
Terry, give me just some general feelings about everything you saw over these last 2 days, and then I'll turn it to Watson, see where he wants to take it.
All right. I think the Titans have to be feeling pretty good, maybe better than they thought about the pass game with the first team offense. Ryan Tannehill seems to be getting on the same page with Austin Hooper and with Kyle Phillips, especially. Robert Woods, he's coming around with him. That's still a little bit of a work in progress. But overall, I think they have to be encouraged by what they've seen in these 2 days of work because the first team offense has looked pretty good from what I've seen. I think defensively they're in good shape. Of course, they're not going against Tom Brady. They're not Mike Evans and Chris Godwin were out there either. Weren't out there either. So you're talking about them going against some of the second and third string guys. It's a whole lot easier to dominate against Blaine Gabbert and Kyle Trask than it is against the GOAT Tom Brady. So I think you maybe temper that a little bit, but I do believe this Titans defense is on the way to potentially being very good, especially if Farley can develop some consistency and Roger McCreary continues to develop the way he has, because that's really going to solidify that secondary.
Watson?
I go back, Terry, again to the offensive line. I saw where there were a couple of them that didn't go today. Any progress there? Any thoughts? Anybody else come up and say, man, I think we're getting better there? Or it's still, to me, the number one spot on this football team.
There's no doubt about it, Watson. I think when you look about where this team is still has question marks, offensive line's right there at the top of the list. Today it was Nicholas Petit-Ferrer that got the first team reps at right tackle. Yesterday it was Dylan Radin. So they're giving both of those guys a shot to see exactly what it is that they've got in both those guys. And I expect that battle to continue probably into next week when the Cardinals come to town. Ben Jones left practice early with some sort of leg injury, and Nate Davis did not practice at all after he left practice Wednesday a little bit early and did not come back out. So there were some patchwork guys out there operating with the first unit today. So you don't really get a true picture of what this group could look like, but I do believe that this is an offensive line that certainly needs to answer some questions over the next 10 days to find out exactly who's going to be where, especially at that right tackle spot.
Yeah, and just the injury bug, Terry, it seems to be a lot of the same guys as last year. I hadn't heard Taylor Wan's name mentioned in missing anything, but when Jones is out again with an injury, they just can't seem to stay together long enough to do it. Now I know how those practices go and how physical they are. If you're going to get banged around, that's the time. And it's not going to be in these preseason games. It's going to be in these practices. And I'd read where the Bucs had a lot of their guys. I know they lost their best tackle. I think it was today or yesterday. Wirtz went out with an injury to his rib area, I think. So it happens. But, man, I just like to see this offensive line be bragged on a little bit. It says, man, we look dominant out there today. And I hadn't heard that yet.
No, and I haven't heard that or seen that yet either, Watson. But I will say this. Some of that has to do with the fact that number 22 has not been in the backfield, because I do believe that line looks a whole lot better when Derrick Henry's back there carrying the football, because he is so much better into the hole, as a runner, and also, just running over people and creating his own yards. So I think that plays a factor into this offensive line, especially in the run game. I think where they really need to grow the most is in their pass protection. And there was one concerning thing today with that. First play of the 2-minute offense, Tannehill sacked by Vita Vea. So that lets you know that they took advantage probably of that center guard combination that's not normally starters that were out there with that first group.
And Watson, when you get sacked by Vita Vea, there may not be much left of you.
Well, they can't find you. You're engulfed. And where did he go? Quarterback disappeared.
No kidding. Hey,
fortunately for Tannehill, they don't let him take him to the ground. So it was basically just blown dead when they realized that the pocket had collapsed.
Oh, thank goodness.
Terry, a couple of things. First of all, thank you for the help in getting Scott Reynolds. We're going to show his interview after the update, and it is amazing. All of you are going to want to hear it. with his discussion and his theories on what's going on with Tom Brady. Secondly, remember last night when you and I talked about Josh Donaldson being washed up?
Yes.
Grand slam, enjoy.
Walk-off grand slam. Yes, that may have saved the season for the Yankees. I had already texted Connor and told him that I was done with this team after Chapman gave up the 3 runs, saying, I hope they get beat the first round of the playoffs so I don't have to deal with this anymore. And then
Now,
all of a sudden,
Watson, if I said that, you'd go off.
Well, but Terry, don't just when things go good, don't turn it into an ego trip. He don't do that like you do. I mean, you the dangest front runner I have ever seen.
You stay out of this, Billy. How's your camera working over there?
I'll get it fixed. Don't worry,
sure
Joe.
you will. We're going to throw an egg at it. Terry, thank you as always. Good work through these 2 days, and we'll do it again tomorrow.
all right, see you guys.
See you, Terry.
Terry McCormick reporting from the nearest thing to Yankee Stadium in the state of Tennessee. Okay, so we have no Billy on camera. Watson, I vote that we maybe continue that for a while. What do you think?
No, I'm not going there. I'm not jumping on one of your bandwagons like that one now.
Well, see,
Not
you know
happening.
why that is? Because he sides with you. Okay, whatever you say, you're daddy. You know, and daddy takes a few rips at the host and he just jumps on it.
Like the host has never ripped into him. So, you know,
Oh, man.
he's just glad to see it go 2 ways. That's all.
Do you realize we're getting paid to do this?
Oh, Lord, not much.
Okay. Wow. What do we got in the update?
George, we got some interesting stuff in the update. We've
Yeah,
got
I'm sure we do.
couple sponsors first, though. The Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners. They are proven to be trusted with your most personal asset. The Justin Tucker team, call them at 615-906-8458. And Sumner Funeral and Cremation. They are sharing their family with yours in your time of need, now with 2 convenient locations in Gallatin and Hendersonville, and online at sumnerfuneral.com. Sumner Funeral and Cremation, traditional, affordable, and dignified.
Where do we start?
George, we start with some very, very sad news. Luke Knox, a kid out of Brentwood, Tennessee, of course, played at Brentwood Academy, has tragically passed away at the age of 22. He was playing for Coach McIntyre down at FIU, started at Ole Miss. Just an awful, awful story.
I texted Mike earlier today. First of all, I want to pass on our show's condolences to the Knox family. I've known a bunch of them for years. They are great people. Feel terrible about what has happened. His cousin, Tate Pearson, is a very good friend of mine, and I am just sick for their family for what they're going through. Watson, this is a terrible thing.
Oh, George, I mean, I just can't – anything that was worse than a young person like that passing away. That's so sad.
Item number 2.
Tough to keep going after that, George. But we go now to Deshaun Watson. There is news on that front, and he has been hammered with an 11-game suspension. And Watson, did you ask us, was your over-under 10 yesterday?
I've been saying 10. When I said go to 10, I missed it by 1. So George was right. He called over, but he just barely got it right.
Barely. But yet old Deshaun maintains his innocence. And I guess
Yes, he did.
I'm going to throw this out here. If you're innocent, why do you agree to this?
That's over my head. I can't answer that one.
Yeah,
I can't answer that.
It's over.
The whole thing is sad all the way around. Sad.
It is. Let me, from a football practical standpoint, if you're Cleveland now, you know exactly what's what. Are you going after Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yes, I am. Unless they don't think they're that good this year, and they just don't want to waste the money.
They sure haven't put that vibe out there.
I would go after him.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll talk more about this around 4:40 this afternoon.
Next piece, George, the Big Ten TV deal. And we're talking about CBS here, right? I don't.
We're talking about a little bit of all of them. We're talking
Yeah.
Fox, we're talking CBS, we're talking NBC, which, first of all, you have the numbers in front of you.
I do not.
Okay, it's a bunch. Put a B as in
7-8 billion,
boy.
guys. $7
Yeah.
to $8 billion.
So Watson,
7-year, $7 billion media rights agreement with those three.
yeah. So when you hear this, and we're going to get into this more in the future, there are a bunch of stories today. Can't get to all of them. Has the Big Ten, how much closer are they now to the equal of the SEC with this deal?
Oh, absolutely there. Yes. They're there. Honestly, I'm not sure that it's not even a better package because they're going to be on 3 networks, whereas the SEC is just on ESPN. And they've got the SEC network, their own network, but they're going to be on NBC, CBS, and Fox. This is a heck of a deal. You know, that commissioner has Coach Commissioner Warren has caught a lot of grief. Back off of him now because this is one heck of a package.
No, he's going to get a raise out of this.
You got that right.
Finder's fee.
Finder's fees.
And
Last one, George. Nashville and the NHL have combined, and they will host Nashville, that city, of course, our city, will host the NHL draft and the awards. So that's next season, correct?
2023. First of all, no city has ever gotten the awards dinner in June and the draft. I remember in 2003, I did essentially an 8-hour broadcast on a Saturday. Me, Willie, Darren from whatever it was called at the time, whatever the arena name was. That was a great moment for the city.
Sommet Center?
I think it was before that. Here's the thing, though. The Canadian cities have been really hooty snooty about Nashville. And in particular, several of them, the year that we were fighting to keep the team, when I would go on shows up there, got really sanctimonious. And Watson, I remember telling one of them, listen, cut the crap. I got 2 words for you. Montreal Expos. You know, you got some dirty linen as well. I think what's going on, though, the NHL with this move is admitting that people like Butch Spearden, Sean Henry, Scott Ramsey, they have taught this league to get out of the 14th century in marketing and get on with it. That's what I think is going on here.
Oh, well, and what they said they do, they flat did. They say, you give it to us, we'll do this, this, and this, and it will be highly successful. And by golly, it was. So the proof's in the pudding, George. It's hard not to bring it back with everything that we've done in Nashville with the NHL, that they don't come back here, because we're 100, we're batting 100% on different things that we've hosted through the NHL.
Very proud for the people involved. This is another in a series of really good things for our city, and just really happy for the people that I mentioned earlier. By the way, Butch Spearden will be with us next Monday, not only to talk about the Titans' proposed stadium deal, but also about this as well, because he and Ellie Westman and some others handled the 2003 NHL draft, and they did it in incredible style. So, Billy, what's the ETA on you getting a picture?
Next after the break, George. After
Really?
the break. Yep.
You're pretty sure about that?
I'm confident.
Good. That's wonderful. Watson, when we come back, this is an interview that's going to get everybody's attention. Scott Reynolds from Pewter Report, in other words, one of the Tampa Bay Bucks publications, will join us. And trust me when I tell you, the info he's going to put out there about Tom Brady is going to get your attention. Stick around. This is Main Street Media Television.
Buying or selling a home can be a very personal experience. Why not go with the team that receives nearly all of their business from referrals? Clearly a trusted name in real estate. The Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners has sold more than 500 homes in the last 7 years. Voted best in Sumner County multiple times. Proven to be trusted with your most personal assets. Call the Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners at 615-906-8458. The Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners, Middle Tennessee's most trusted team in realty.
I highly recommend Sumner Funeral and Cremation because of their caring nature and attentiveness to detail.
Pre-planning your funeral now will bring you peace of mind and less stress to your loved ones. When the chaos of losing you happens, your family can honor and celebrate your life, knowing things are happening just as you wanted them to. Pre-planning determines the details of your funeral, cemetery services, and can be less expensive. We are honored to serve you and are always here for you in your time of need.
Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Traditional, affordable, dignified. SumnerFuneral.com.
Jody Jones Dentistry can handle all your dental needs, from the basics to cosmetic procedures. All of this in the nicest dental facility I have ever seen. Jody has done it right. They're located conveniently at 55 Music Square East, and for an appointment, it's simple. Dial 615-259-5100 and tell them Plaz sent you. When you're thinking about golf, consider Riverside Golf Links. Under new ownership, the course has improved dramatically. It's now 27 holes, complemented by a 9-hole executive course. Book a tee time now at 615-847-5074 and get ready to enjoy the beauty of golf in the Old Hickory area at Riverside Golf Links.
I'm Bart Durham.
I was sworn in as a lawyer in 1963, and I've been working as a lawyer since then.
We're a firm that does exclusively personal injury, a lot of tractor-trailer crashes. Insurance companies will open up their checkbooks when you force them to.
We have systems that work.
We get the most money for our clients in the shortest amount of time.
I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
This is Eric Berner with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors. I help people in the pursuit of making their money live as long as they do. People hire me because I use a customized, individualized, and personal approach for the person I'm working with. Everyone's situation is different. If you've lost a spouse or a parent and want to make sure your inheritance is utilized and does not just disappear, I can help with that. Call me at 615-235-1058 or email Eric at rockcastlewealth.com.
Yeah, there we are. So that's Billy in the left corner. And Billy,
hi, Billy,
is this. When you just agree with anything he puts out there and you're just his mouthpiece, your camera will go away. The camera god's got you.
Watson.
Billy, don't worry about it, babe. Don't worry about it.
I'm just gonna defer to you, Watson.
We'll bring him out of the woodwork against him, buddy. So don't worry about it.
Talk to your godfather over there. Okay. So we got the Titans side earlier of what went on today over at the practice facility. The Tampa Bay side, to be honest, has a little bit more intrigue. And with that in mind, about an hour ago, we sat down with Scott Reynolds from Pewter Report. This is going to get your attention. First of all, thank you for taking the time to join us. What have the last couple of years been like for you covering Tom Brady?
It's really been quite a wild ride, because you go from the Jameis Winston years, where for 5 years he was the Buccaneers franchise quarterback. At least that's what they thought. He was a first-round draft pick. They gave him ample time, 3 different head coaches from Lovie Smith to Dirk Cutter and then to Bruce Arians to try to become that guy. And it just didn't work out. That last year, that 2019 season where he had his 5th-year option picked up, 33 touchdowns, but 30 interceptions. They pretty much just made one switch, and that was at the quarterback position, bringing in Tom Brady. And all of a sudden, this is a Super Bowl team. They won the Super Bowl in Tom's first year, battling COVID in the process. So it really was a wild ride in 2020. And then, of course, they saddled up again, brought everybody back, and came just so close to repeating as Super Bowl champions. I think if they had gotten past the Rams in that divisional playoff game at home, they more than likely beat the 49ers. And I think they beat the Bengals in the Super Bowl and probably repeat as champions.
Scott, there are all kinds of little conspiracy theories. A lot of people believe Tom Brady is way too buttoned up in his life for the retirement, unretirement. What's your theory of what was going on and all that?
I don't know. I think I think that Tom professionally was exploring some options, which is fine. I mean, that's what happens, right? I mean, that you see that just because I go test drive a car doesn't mean I'm going to buy it, right? And I can go to the lot, we can negotiate and we can talk, and I'm for a test drive. It doesn't mean I'm going to buy it from you. And I think that Tom and his representatives may have listened. And maybe he wanted to explore the Miami option. Maybe Giselle had some say in that either one way or the other because he is a family man. He curiously retired and then curiously unretired. And that seems very un-Tom Brady-like. And now he's kind of missing from training camp for some unknown personal reasons. Again, adding more intrigue into this comeback year for Tom Brady. We can get into that in a second. But to answer your question with regards to, to Tom and this offseason, I think that there's a lot of different dynamics. His age, his home life, the fact that last year he doesn't want to go out with that loss because they made a furious comeback in the fourth quarter to the Rams. And I think that he, like a lot of people inside the Bucs organization, know that had they taken that game to overtime and won that game, then they probably won the Super Bowl. And I think he was so close, he does not want his career to go out on that particular note.
Todd Bowles earlier today had what I would describe as some murky answers when he got peppered about what's going on with Brady. Do you think there is even the slightest chance he's not coming back?
That's a great question. I would have said he's coming back prior to today, but when I asked Todd about when he was going to return, what day can we expect Tom back next week? And he didn't give an answer. He said, we'll see. And there is no definitive date. That got my spider sense tingling a little bit, only because this has been the un-Tom Brady-like offseason for a guy that is so meticulously planned everything and well thought out and well forecasted. And he's a control freak. He's a control guy. And it seems like this offseason's really kind of been out of control. And if he's dealing with some personal issues and reasons, which I have no reason to believe that he's not, that was the official reason given. And these are personal issues. So whether it's the health of his elderly parents, he's a very, family driven guy, whether it is something having to do with Giselle, maybe her health or maybe the state of their marriage. And I'm just completely speculating here, but it's got to be something important to take him away from football. He decided to come back. He decided to play one more year. So that tells me when Tom Brady is all in on football, he's all in. So if there's something to make him not all in, it has to be something serious. Again, pure speculation on my part, but the fact that neither the team nor Brady has given us anything really concrete to go off of, I think it's invited speculation. And so you have to forgive me if I just make this quick little speculative piece here. My stepfather died of cancer. My mother died of a sudden heart attack. One is a hurricane. One is a tornado. With a tornado, there's no planning. It comes without warning. When you have a hurricane coming, and I know this living in Florida quite well, you have ample warning to prepare. And so for Tom to take this time off in the month of August, that's the time he can take it off. Once the season starts, he can't. So I think that there is something that was coming down the pike that maybe is health related to something in his family, where there was a notice of some kind where he could take this time off. But it is curious that Todd Bowles today didn't say when Tom would return. And that does make it murky, to use your term. I think it's spot on.
Watson Brown, who's a co-host on this show, is very close with Bruce Arians. Arians was a live wire. Bowles appears to be the polar opposite. And I'm right about that.
To a degree, I think Todd Bowles has got kind of a funny personality that we're finally seeing as a head coach now, with more interactions with the media. You know, when he had just a once a week defensive coordinator press conference with the media that lasted 8 to 10 minutes total, you would only get so much personality in that because it was such a limited exposure. Then throw on top of it too, the last 2 years have been kind of COVID years, where most of the time we've gotten Todd, it's been on a Zoom call, which is the most impersonal kind of environment when you're dealing with a press conference, because sometimes there's a follow-up question and give and take and some banter. But when you're just doing a Zoom call, it doesn't really allow for that in a press conference setting. So now we're seeing a little bit more of Todd's personality. There's no way he's going to be anywhere close to Bruce Arians, but he's not as buttoned up and straight-laced as I thought he was. He does have a little bit more of a personality and a little bit more outgoing. And it's kind of funny because back in 2019, before COVID, I would ask the players about Todd Bowles, and they said he's funny. You know, you want to run through the wall for the guy. And you just didn't see that because you didn't have enough exposure. Now we're kind of seeing that in the Tampa media. Yeah. And I think the more that the national media gets exposed to Bowles, you'll see it too. This team loves Todd. And I think the main difference that we're seeing and hearing about from the players and also from Todd himself is the fact that the attention to detail wasn't quite there at the end of the year. And he wants it to be a more detail-oriented football team, a smarter football team, a more accountable football team. And those are the talking points heading into the season.
Maybe we're too close to the forest to see the trees, so I'm really interested in your answer. You've watched the Titans for 2 days against the team you cover, Tampa Bay. Give me some thoughts on what you've seen.
Super impressed with the Titans' defensive line. Their defensive front really shuts the run down. And I know that because the Buccaneers' defensive line shuts the run down. Tampa Bay's defensive line is one of the best at stopping the run. Now, the Bucs' offensive line is not at full strength, right? They don't have Pro Bowl center Ryan Jensen. He's out injured, might be out for the year. Ali Marpet, the Pro Bowl left guard, has retired. But still, I thought the Titans' defensive line, for the most part, manhandled the Bucs' offensive line up front. Certainly in the run game, shut down what Tampa Bay wanted to do in the running game. The Bucs have got a pass-first offense. They're better in pass protection, and I think they kind of held their own to a degree against the Titans' defensive line. But that Titans' defensive front against the run was very impressive, and it really caused for some contentious moments on the sidelines. You saw a lot of Buccaneer offensive linemen kind of, trying to pick up tempo and hype each other up because they were getting whipped up front. The other thing is Tennessee's offensive weaponry, the tight ends, the wide receivers. I know that A.J. Brown's gone and Treylon Burks is a young, promising rookie, but I was impressed with the number of receivers and tight ends that got open against this Buccaneers secondary, not just on Wednesday, but also Thursday. I thought the Bucs secondary got whipped on Thursday. And I do think that the Bucs have a little bit of dead legs. This is the fourth practice they've had this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, plus traveling. It can wear you out. But I expected a little bit more of a fight from the Bucs DBs. And whether it was 1-on-1, 7-on-7s, 11-on-11s, I thought that the Titans quarterbacks and wide receivers really did a good job whipping the Bucs secondary.
You want to go Oliver Stone for a minute?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, you came close to it, but I'm going to take it a ridiculous step farther.
Okay.
Let's say tomorrow we find out, for whatever reason, and none of us want this, that Brady isn't coming back.
Right.
Okay, I know you've played this game in your mind. It's not going to be Blaine Gabbert. It's not going to be Kyle Trask, or is it? And if it isn't, and I don't think it is, who do they then target?
Well, I mean, right now there's no saviors on the street. I mean, you're a couple weeks away from the start of the season. There's no team that's going to give up a better quarterback right now than what the Bucs already have. And it's interesting that there's a part of me, and I've kind of been called the conductor of the Blaine train down here in Tampa. I'm a little enamored with Blaine, just for the reason that I go back to the Super Bowl 37 in 2002. You had Brad Johnson, who was like 33, 34, kind of a journeyman, right? He'd been to the Vikings, the Redskins, and then lands in Tampa. And his career took a while to get going. You got a guy like Rich Gannon for the Raiders, who, again, a journeyman quarterback, had been around the block, several teams, and then, gets with John Gruden out there in Oakland and ends up being an NFL MVP later in life. And I want to say he was 35 or 36 in the Super Bowl. So you had these two journeyman quarterbacks that found success later in their careers, duking it out in the Super Bowl. Ironically, both coached by Gruden, Rich Gannon. And then John comes to Tampa in 2002 in that magical season. And so there's a part of me now, and I've talked to Bruce Arians about this, and maybe Bruce has suckered me. I don't know, but I'm kind of buying in. Blaine Gabbert, this is now year 5 in this system, dating back to Arizona when he was there with Bruce for a year. Before that, he had spent 8 years with 8 different systems and 8 different coaches. And that's no way that you're going to have success in that particular environment. As a young quarterback, to have a lack of continuity, a lack of weaponry, it just doesn't work. And so I'm curious what Gabbert 2.0 would be. Now, he didn't look that great today in practice, but he does know this offense. He does have a lot more great weapons around him. He's not going to be anywhere close to Tom Brady. Nobody is. But I think if the Buccaneers had to roll with Blaine Gabbert, they could make a run at the playoffs. I think they probably would have to get in by winning the division, and it might be 9 or 10 wins, but it would be interesting to see if Blaine Gabbert 2.0 is better than what we saw when he was in Tennessee, in Arizona, in San Francisco, and of course in Jacksonville.
Okay, you know how old you just made me feel?
Tell me.
Listen to this. By the way, that wasn't real good TV on my end, that cough, but 1988, I'm Memphis State's announcer. In the basketball tournament in the old Metro Conference, we are playing Florida State, and Brad Johnson was a starting forward.
Yeah. Yep.
How about that?
Yeah. And now he's doing trick shots. I mean, on Twitter, he's all over Twitter doing trick shots with basketballs, footballs. I mean, Brad Johnson, certainly one of the best Buccaneers of all time, just in terms of what he was able to do, finally leading this franchise to the Super Bowl. And again, it was a switch at quarterback, right? I mean, you had Sean King before that and Trent Dilfer before him. And you have to have that steadying presence at the quarterback position. And that's certainly what Brady has provided. I mean, he's been spectacular, but he's also been a steadying presence. And you just have to wonder, like, what is happening with Tom? We'll eventually find out what it will be. And when is he coming back? I mean, we in the media, the Tampa media, were expecting him to probably return on Monday, and maybe he shows up Monday. But the fact that Todd Bowles didn't come out and say, oh, he's coming back on Monday, that there was not a definitive date, and he simply said, we'll see, that certainly adds a little bit more intrigue to the mystery that is Tom Brady's whereabouts right now.
We'll see. Scott, on really short notice, thank you for doing this. Intriguing stuff.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, that's Scott Reynolds from the Pewter Report. We're going to get Watson Brown's reaction to that and the Deshaun Watson agreement, if you will. 11 games, $5 million fine. Stick around. This is Main Street Media Television.
For Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly, they welcome every opportunity to serve and satisfy their clients. Whether you are looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and remodel is unique, luxurious, completed on time, and within budget. Contact them today to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects by logging on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
At WellSkin Dermatology and Aesthetics, we pride ourselves in providing access, innovation, and a patient experience second to none. Access to care and treatment when you need it. Innovation with medical-led cosmetics and various on-site technologies for full-service treatments with a customer experience that is calming, casual, and effective. Independently owned, providing medical, surgical, pediatric, and cosmetic dermatology and more. Visit WellSkinMD.com to schedule your appointment today. WellSkin Dermatology and Aesthetics. Access to healthier skin. It's your last chance to get a spring tune-up for summer. Complete Service Heat and Air can clean your coils, check out your motor, and make sure you have cold air on that first hot day of summer. Complete Service Heat and Air is located in White Bluff, Tennessee. We do service and repair on heating and air the right way. 24/7 service. Call us at 615-797-3997. That's 615-797-3997. Serving Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Hickman, Humphreys, Montgomery, and Williamson counties. Have you heard about the high levels of radon in Middle Tennessee? Radon gas is the second leading cause of lung cancer, second only to smoking, and has no color, no taste, and no smell. The only way to know if you have radon is to test for it. Duret Radon Mitigation offers testing for small and large-scale residential and commercial properties plus mitigation services. Visit DuretRadonMitigation.com to request testing or get a free estimate for mitigation. That's DuretRadonMitigation.com. Since 1865, the First Baptist Church of Gallatin on Winchester Street has served its community by catering to the least, the last, and the lost, providing a church of welcome used by God to save the lost, transform the saved, and impact its community. As a proud multi-ethnic congregation, Pastor Derek Jackson personally welcomes you to join them in fellowship Sunday mornings at 8 in person or at 10:45 in person or online at firstbaptistgallatin.org. First Baptist Gallatin on Winchester Street, serving with open arms as a true church of welcome.
Okay, we are back, and we're going to talk about two of the highest profile quarterbacks in the NFL with both Watson and Billy. Watson, let's bring you up first. Off the interview you heard with Scott Reynolds, are you inclined to get a little Oliver Stone, or do you think nothing to it?
No, I don't want to burst the bubble here, but I don't see it at all. This was a planned takeoff before practice ever started. This wasn't something he walked in the middle of practice that I'm going to take off 10 days. This was totally planned. Talked to the team about it before they ever started their preseason practices back in this 2 weeks before it started. And he has never said he was coming back at a certain date yet. He said, we'll be back somewhere after the Tennessee game. Well, that hasn't changed any. I think Todd may be getting, a little impatient because he hasn't given him I'll be back on Wednesday. But I think all it is Tom hadn't given him a date yet. But I think it'll be sometime that week after the Tennessee game.
Okay, Billy, here's where I'm an old, jaded person. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
You should have said, "Oh, you're not old."
Who?
Thank you. If the players knew this a couple of weeks ahead of time, as Watson just said, players yap. Somebody would have found out. It would have gotten out. That's cynical me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Watson. I'm not.
Oh, the two of y'all are tied at the hip these days. You saw what it did to your camera.
Yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen again. But I wouldn't be as concerned. I mean, it's still preseason, and there's still, 3 games left to go for most teams. So, but still, the fact that they thought he was going to be back Monday and he didn't come back. I mean, most of the Tampa media, and he's right on top of it. Scott Reynolds from the Pewter Report. So I was a little bit surprised by that, but I'm still not. I'm not in panic mode or anything now.
I don't care one way or the other. But I do think there's something sort of going on. This is the most buttoned up guy, Watson, in the history of buttoned up. Retirement, unretirement was as un-Brady as it gets. There's something going on here.
I personally thought the retirement, unretirement was totally tied to the Dolphins. I think he wanted to go. He and Sean Payton, I think he ends up being part owner of the Dolphins. Both of them probably part owners of the Dolphins, and that thing blew up just because of the coach. Ends up suing the owner, and I think that's the reason it threw back. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Really, all I can do is go back to Tampa. So I thought that was the reason for that, George. But he's back into calculating everything again now. He calculates prior to him starting practice. I'm going to take these 10 days. I will come back somewhere in that week when I feel comfortable, and then we'll go back and win another Super Bowl. So I think he is still calculated again right now myself. I mean, we can't prove it, but when you're as strong of wanting to come back to run the coach off, I mean, that's wanting to come back pretty strong. That's not wishy-washy. When you make a deal that I'll come back if we change head coaches. Now, we can't prove that went down. We can't. But my gosh, it sure looks like it.
Okay, you said that, and people know you're really good friends with.
No, I've never asked. I've stayed out of that. I've got 2 great friends on that staff, Rick Christophel and Bruce, and I've never asked either one professionally that. I wouldn't. That's not fair to put them on that spot. But all I can do is be a fan like everybody else, George. I think both you and I have talked about this before. It sure looks like he pushed him aside, and I'll come back if Todd Bowles is our head coach.
Okay, let's go around the room on this one. If Cleveland knew that Deshaun Watson was going to get 11 games, would they have made the deal?
I think yes. I think they still would, just because, I mean, he's out 11 games, but you still got 5 or 6 after that.
Your daddy's agreeing with you.
I think they were shocked it was 6. I'll tell you that.
Oh, God.
I think they were shocked when it was 6. And then I thought it would go somewhere around 10. And that's what it is. So, yes, I think they had a decent idea of what was going to come down.
Okay, Watson, you know way better than I do the intricacies of getting a new quarterback in and being able to run a system. The Browns have Jacoby Brissett, who I would say is one of the top 3 or 4 backup quarterbacks in the league. He's won some games. He's not chopped liver. But if you are really thinking about Jimmy Garoppolo, if you're the Cleveland Browns, don't you have to get that done this weekend?
Yeah, you get it done within this weekend or early next week. And what they got to decide to me, do they want to spend the money for 11 games, number one, and number two, how good is Jacoby Brissett? Compare him to Garoppolo. That's what I'd do if I'm them. And some of the reports coming out about Jimmy that shocked me from my background with Jimmy through the OVC, of him not paying attention. And once he got that contract, he was kind of belligerent and just did his own thing. And that shocked me. That's so not talking to that kid before and after games or at OVC media days or whenever I would sit with him and just talk. That so doesn't sound, he's a very polite kid, a very kind of a shy kid, positive kid about all of his teammates and blah, 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 and his coach. And boy, but if that's true and that's out there, I'm not sure anybody's going to jump at him, George. If it's not true, Jimmy needs to nip that in the bud because that's all over the league now.
Because and you're right, it is all over the place. And I don't think he can go through a full year of just sitting and them acting like he's fourth string. And because if Trey Lance gets hurt and he doesn't play, they don't go to him. Woo. Hello.
Yeah, don't you think he'll be somewhere? They may cut him, but I don't think they'll leave him on the team.
Teams are waiting to hope.
I'm not sure that they're trying to play it out, and they may end up by game time. They got to cut him. No way he's on the 49ers roster when the first game gets here, in my opinion.
Let's just call it the way it is. Yesterday, stat of the day, we killed it.
We did.
5 for 5.
And I looked up Will Chamberlain. He was 2 behind that. He was 7, I think. 7. After the show was over, I looked it up, and he was way up there. So we weren't far off on Will.
No. So we will continue our hot streak. Sure we will. When we come back, this is Main Street Media Television. Tell me a little bit about your company.
So One Stop Realty has been around since 1974. We are your hometown brokerage. It is family owned by me. We have 30 agents that are waiting to help you with all your real estate needs. That counts as residential, commercial, and property management. We also will be getting into the auction business at the end of this month as well. We have listings that range from every price range that you can think of on the real estate market. I know Shelly Tucker has a new listing coming up in Gallatin. Heather Patton has one in Madison right around the corner here. I have one coming up myself. We have everything you need as far as real estate, and we have the expertise to help you out.
Beautiful. Give them a phone number.
Phone numbers for the office is 615-822-0750. You can find us on the web at www.onestoprealty.tn.com.
Thanks for getting involved with us.
George,
really appreciate this. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
I think so.
Serving Williamson and surrounding counties, Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee offers comprehensive orthopedic care with 16 subspecialized physicians. Our practice provides high-tech care with a hometown touch. We offer physician clinics, physical and occupational therapy, advanced imaging, and surgical services, including interventional procedures. Call us at 615-791-2630. We're Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee. High-tech care with a hometown touch.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor-trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor-trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor-trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
The high school football season is here, and nobody handles Friday nights better than Main Street Media. Here's Zach Womble with details.
That's the name of the game here at Main Street Media and Main Street Preps. Is, we've been doing this for a long time now, and I think you hit on it. We've got an army of reporters across all of Middle Tennessee. I think there's about 130 schools in the Middle Tennessee area, and we try to cover all of them. We cover about 11, 12 counties at this point. And those Friday night shows, it's we're gonna show that off. We're gonna showcase the talent that we have on the field with reporters across several mid-state games on the weekly basis. So whether you're in Williamson County, whether you're in Giles County or Murray County or Montgomery or Robertson or anywhere in between, we're gonna have you covered from 6 to 11.
Friday Night Live is presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, where fans don't let fans drive drunk. Well, before we ace today's question, Billy, do you have reading material?
I do have reading material, George, as we get ready for Stat of the Day. It is powered, as always, by John English Vintage Sports and Cards and Rock Castle Wealth Advisors. John English specializes in antique and historical sports equipment, games, advertising, and other sport-related items. You can visit John English Sports and Cards in Shelbyville, Tennessee, open Tuesdays through Fridays from noon to 5 o'clock and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5. Visit them online at johnenglishgradedcards.com.
What was that number?
10 a.m. to 5 on Saturdays. You got me there, George.
I know.
Also, Rock Castle Wealth Advisors. Of course, you can contact Eric Berner, of course, over there. We've seen his commercials. And as I get to that, George.
Eric is a good man. Former Sounds PA announcer.
Look at that.
Yeah. You didn't know that, did you?
I did not know that. But Eric Berner, you can call him at 615-490-7052 or visit rockcastlewealth.com for more information. And let's see if George and Watson can stay hot with Stat of the Day. The question is, we go to college football. Which college football team has had the most consecutive seasons ranked in the preseason AP poll?
Wow. Okay, Watson, let's
the obvious one must not be it.
Okay, you're saying the obvious Alabama.
It's Alabama. Alabama, since Nick got there, how many years has he been there now? They were down through
he's been
they had
there.
Mike Dubose, Mike Price. There was a spell there where they really struggled. Shula.
He's been there about 15.
So is there somebody with a longer tenure than 15?
Okay.
That
the
would be
obvious ones would be people like USC, Nebraska, Oklahoma.
I think USC fell off a little, didn't they?
Yeah, and Oklahoma had a little spell as well.
Oklahoma might be the answer.
Well, let me say this.
It's going to be, it could be Oklahoma or Texas, either one.
Whoa.
What was that?
What in the hell was that thing? That thing sounds like it's got gas. We can't do better than that.
That's the best buzzer I could find.
No, don't you ever bring that one out again. We gotta do better. Okay. So obviously we're wrong on Oklahoma. Watson.
What about Notre Dame?
That's what I'm thinking.
They always, just name alone. All they got to be in is the top 25 now, right?
That's the way the question.
The way I'm reading this, it's not top 10 or number one team in the country. It's top 25.
We're going Notre Dame.
You can lock it in
and rip the knob off.
It is the Ohio State University.
We named every one of them but that one, didn't we?
Yeah. Man, we were close.
That's not as easy as a lot of people might think.
That's the only one we didn't name, though, George, of the big dogs.
Watson, I feel like we're close.
Oh yeah, we were all over.
I mean, nobody's just blowing us away unless they ask Brent, Gretzky. That was so bad.
Unless we get one where he wants to blow us away one day.
Yeah. Okay, the 5 o'clock hour, you're in for a real treat here in a couple of minutes as we bring back a guy that I have absolutely loved dealing with. Don't you have something to read before Danny gets in here?
I do have something to read, George. The 5 o'clock hour is powered by Middle Tennessee Bone and Joint. They combine state-of-the-art orthopedic service with a family atmosphere. Whether it's a sports injury, a sprained ankle, or a major joint replacement, Middle Tennessee Bone and Joint has the staff, training, and equipment needed to take care of any patient in any circumstance. Their mission is to provide high-quality, specialized orthopedic care in a compassionate manner to the people of Columbia and Middle Tennessee. Visit them online at mtbj.net for more information.
Danny Evans knows more baseball than any human being I know. I will put him up there with all of the big boys that you see on ESPN. I met him years ago through the late, great Nick Hunter. And that right there in and of itself is a story, and we'll get to it in a second. Danny, how in the world are you?
George, I'm great. I've had a terrific week. Last week we had the Field of Dreams games between the minor league and the big league games Tuesday and Thursday. And this week I'm in Baltimore for the Sabre convention. I'm on the board of directors. And I literally was just at the Babe Ruth Museum, which was absolutely unbelievable. What a cool experience.
Okay, we got a lot of ground to cover. But Danny, I got to start with this. Both Watson and Billy were at the Hall of Fame ceremony where I got inducted. If Nick had been alive, what clothing would he have worn? Because you and I know, I don't think the guy had a suit.
No, I think it would have been his best dress gray hoodie, perhaps with a white string tie on the neck piece. But I don't think it would have been much classier than that. And I wouldn't have expected anything different, George. And George, congratulations. Do I have to call you Mr. Plaster from this point forward?
Watson, you want to answer that?
Please don't do that. Don't do that, Danny. The ego's already through Nashville, so don't add to it, for gracious sake.
You never knew, Nick, but one of the little tricks he used to love to do, in particular, if I was at a new station, and there have been a few over the years, he would do everything he could the first go round on the air to talk about what the station wasn't doing well, to just get me in hot water right off the bat. I had one station, Danny, just say, get him the hell out of here.
Foam the runway, right?
That is such a great line. Okay. He never got to see you in this Field of Dreams role. He would be so proud. He would be so excited. Tell us what all that you did in year 2 and what satisfied you the most.
Well, George, I think one of the neat things about what I'm doing now is I get to win every day. For those of you who don't know, I spent 40 years in the game as a GM, as an assistant GM, and you're measured by your win-loss record. And now I win every day. I really do. It's amazing. So my role as the chief operating officer of the Field of Dreams and is just really fun. I'm in charge of everything Field of Dreams oriented, from the big league game to the minor league game to, what we're doing on the site when we're playing cornhole. This has been a really rewarding year, George. You and Watson know me pretty well now. I get to be there and be a support mechanism for people, make it a great experience for them. I get to see grandfathers and grandmothers play with their grandkids, play catch with them. I get to determine how to best utilize the wonderful resource that we have, this spectacular place. And very honestly, I mean, the minor league and the big league games that were played last week are a lot of fun because I have pre-existing relationships with people in Major League Baseball. What we've done in the last 6 to 8 months, guys, is put together a situation where we're going to build a baseball, softball complex, an amphitheater, a hotel, an RV park, an inclusive park, just an amazing 300-acre parcel north of the Field of Dreams movie site. And everything we will do won't be seen at the Field of Dreams movie site. So you could stand at home plate today and get the same view 2 years from now. We're going to break ground on the 1st of September. We're going to be open for business, baseball and softball, next June, the latest July 1st. And we're going to have over 1,000 teams annually to come hang out in Dyersville and Eastern Iowa and have an absolute blast. And I'm seeing it now. And for all of you listening, watching, there's things you do in your life that you realize are a bit of a dream, are a goal. And then when you can actually see it, touch it, it's a remarkable feeling. And that's really where I am right now. And I'm pinching myself a little bit because in a couple of weeks, the groundbreaking is going to happen. And it's just going to really be that much closer to a really great situation in Iowa.
Watson, you've watched this over the last year and a half. Feel free to get in here right now before we get into all the baseball talk.
Danny, it sounds fantastic. What a great idea. Is all of this within walking distance of the Field of Dreams and the house there and the field, or is it drivable? How far away is all the building taking place?
Well, Watson, I'll tell you what, I've got great partners. Frank Thomas and his business partner, Rick Heidner, and I put together a deal where we added over 100 additional acres. So it's not only walking distance, but it's part of our property. It'll be directly north of the field. It's a walk, literally a walk. It's on the same complex. In addition, one thing I didn't mention is we're going to have a 108,000 square foot indoor facility where we're going to have year-round instruction, competition, workouts, the latest technology. It's just going to be a glorious place for boys and girls ages 18 down to just come hang out and have fun, and their families have fun. But Watson, literally, you could hang out on the movie site, play catch with your friends, your grandkids, whoever you want, and then walk probably about 60 acres and walk right into an absolute pristine, spectacular baseball softball complex. And we're so excited. It's been something we've been working for almost a year now. And we got it to the finish line, and we're excited about that.
One last thing, George, I'll ask, then you can take it again. But Danny, are you redoing or adding seats or redoing the original field, or are you doing fields around the original field?
Watson, that's a great question. We will never touch the Field of Dreams movie site. It's going to remain exactly as it is today. Backstop, field, even the cut of the grass. The farmhouse, we're not going to touch it. We're going to leave it exactly as it is. The only thing we're going to change is the little bridge that takes you over the creek. We're going to make it a pedestrian bridge instead of a vehicle bridge. So we will never touch the Field of Dreams. It's just not going to happen. So the 9 fields that we build will all be north of the property. And on the other side of the Corn Ridge, which is about 42 feet high during the peak of the summer. It's 28 feet usually. So as a result, Watson, there's no optics, there's no visual of our new build, and we're really proud of that.
Unbelievable. George, I'm telling you right now, I say it to Danny, it's going on my bucket list. When you get this done, I'm coming. I've got to see this. I want to bring.
Well, you know what they say, Watson? If you build it,
they will come. Well, I'm one of them.
We'd love to have you, Watson. I'll have a 104-room hotel within about 40 yards of the front door. It's just going to be spectacular.
If we tell them we know Nick, can we get a room?
I think it depends what you're wearing, Georgie. If you're if you're not in a hoodie, it might be difficult. Right. But if you wear the gray hoodie, you got a great shot.
You're in. You're in. So you saw, I know, some of Joey Votto's comments. I mean, he was really emotional about what this meant to him. That had to be the greatest feeling in the world to you.
It's pretty cool, George. 52 guys show up to play a game in a cornfield in eastern Iowa, and 8,000 people react accordingly. It's pretty amazing. But the players, and Watson, you've done this. You play at a venue that's a little different. That's just a special place. And the players who get it really get it. Votto got it 3-4 weeks ahead of time. As you both know, I'm a big Twitter guy, and Votto started posting things on Twitter that it was evident that it was a really big occurrence. And the moment he came to the field, he did what the other 51 guys did in uniform. They all peeled away and hung out in their own way. There were some guys who were really emotional, some guys who brought their dads, their kids, their moms. And it was really cool, guys, just playing catch with their family members, their friends. The minor league kids did the same thing. It was super cool. But Votto was a little different, and it was pretty obvious this place meant a lot. It meant a lot to John Smoltz, who lost his dad earlier in the day. It meant a lot to my longtime friend, David Ross, the Cubs manager, who we drafted in Los Angeles when I was there. And David came looking for me. We walked around a little bit, and the place is just different, guys. When you show up, I don't know how to describe it, and I don't know exactly why, but when people go there and they come across the bridge, it's like the world slows down, gets easier. Cell phones get put away. People bond from all over the world, and it sure happened those 2 nights. I mean, we had 3,000. We had an 8,000 capacity stadium that was temporary, that was built. In the future, we'll have a 3,000 permanent seat that can be expanded to 8, and easily host games for big leagues, tournaments, whatnot. But Major League Baseball did a phenomenal job. They learned from last year. They made some changes. It was a better fan experience. But I got to tell you guys, I got in about the 4th inning, and I had been hanging out, not the name drop, but the governor of Iowa is an incredible supporter of our project. We were just hanging out, having a good laugh. And I walked into the park, and I think it felt like a great writer or a great artist feels when your work is finally out. I've seen all these people smiling and laughing and drinking a beer or a Diet Coke and just happy as heck to be in our little piece of the world. And I got tremendous gratification for that. And I'm usually not that guy, but I sat there and I thought, my office rocks. This is pretty good. This isn't too bad.
Danny, in my mind, the 2 greatest goodwill ambassadors that baseball has had in my lifetime are Tommy Lasorda and Harry Carey. And talk to me a little bit about what you tried to do that night, because I know Harry is a guy you knew well.
Yeah, and I'm tempted to do a Harry impersonation, but my voice is a little. Hello again, everybody. Good to see you. Welcome, George Plaster from Nashville. And Plaster backwards is Red Slab.
That is good stuff.
But you know what, guys? Here's how I look at it. And this is every day. I didn't treat it any differently. I'm a really lucky guy. I worked in the game for 40 years. It was great to me. I mean, I have no regrets. My baseball career, I loved it. I loved it. But now I get to really steward something special. And I get to make the experience as positive, as rewarding, as special as I possibly can. And I'm blessed with a great staff, a truly great staff who gets it, and they really get it. And as a result, Major League Baseball gets it too, George. Their staff, you and Watson and the fans need to know, oh my gosh, do they get it? the entire experience is about trying to make this pristine farm a memorable, unique experience. Because for most people, they go to Dyersville once in their lifetime. So our goal is to make it extraordinary and make it not only memorable, but memorable in a way that they tell everybody what a great time they had. Little things, just like walking from your car. My sister came to the game. She drove from Chicago. And she said, walking through the corn from her car into the park, she said, I was already all in. She said, the mode that I got into was, who cares about everything else in the world? I'm good. And I think what we tried to do is make it an experience that everybody walked away from, not comparing it to the year before, but standing on its own. And then George, Walker Hayes came out and sang after the ball game, one of the best live shows I've ever seen. It was absolutely great. And it's just a great experience.
Awesome.
I look back and I think about a week ago tonight, I was having all that fun. And I haven't watched the broadcast yet. My girlfriend and I are going to watch it when I get home from Baltimore. But I'll tell you what, for the fans, if you ever have a chance, it is truly the most special ball game I've ever been to. And I've probably been to about 9,000 games in my lifetime. Nothing compares. Nothing.
Danny, hang with me. After the break, we'll get into some baseball. And Kate, take a guess where we're going to start.
I'm guessing the Marlins and their pitching staff.
Not a chance. Not a chance. Danny, hang with us.
You got it, George.
This guy knows as much, if not more, baseball than anybody. I will put him up with the very top of the top. Danny Evans, talking baseball on Main Street Media Television.
Welcome to the Omni Nashville Hotel. Urban elegance with a vintage touch. Our 800-room hotel opened up in the fall of 2013 with 746 guest rooms and 54 suites.
At Sumner Funeral and Cremation, our mission is to serve families as our own, celebrate the life of their loved one, and help begin the healing process.
My whole family, including my wife and my mom and siblings, were very happy with the treatment that we received. I would highly recommend Sumner Funeral and Cremation.
We offer funeral, burial, cremations, and pre-planning services.
Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Traditional, affordable, dignified. SumnerFuneral.com.
Hi, this is Melissa Hoisington, Regional Crisis Director from Volunteer Behavioral Health. Disasters can affect everything in your life, including your emotional health. Help is available during these uncertain times. The Tennessee Recovery Project is a free, supportive resource for adults and children who have experienced the effects of natural or human-caused disasters. Specialists are available for counseling by phone or in person. For free, confidential service, please call 833-954-2424. The hotline is open 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Move forward with the help from the Tennessee Recovery Project.
This is Eric Berner with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors. I help people in the pursuit of making their money live as long as they do. People hire me because I use a customized, individualized, personal approach for the person I'm working with. Everyone's situation is different. One area I can help with is if you are newly or nearly retired, or maybe have changed jobs and have an old 401k account. You may need more information to help you clearly understand your options. Call me at 615-235-1058 or email eric@rockcastlewealth.com.
I'm Bart Durham.
I was sworn in as a lawyer in 1963, and I've been working as a lawyer since then.
We're a firm that does exclusively personal injury, a lot of tractor trailer crashes. Insurance companies will open up their checkbooks when you force them to.
We have systems that work.
We get the most money for our clients in the shortest amount of time.
I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
Do you love bacon? I mean, do you really love bacon? Who doesn't, right? The third annual Murfreesboro Bacon Fest is coming up Saturday, September 10th. Admission and parking are free. The Bacon Festival will feature live music, food, and craft vendors. And did I say bacon? You can ride a mechanical hog ride. Visit the Kids Zone with free inflatables. There will also be hourly raffles with great prizes and an opportunity to purchase Bacon Festival merchandise. And did I say bacon? Yeah. There will even be a bacon eating contest. Visit the third annual Murfreesboro Bacon Festival Facebook page for all the details.
Well, we are talking baseball with the best. Danny Evans is on the line with us from Baltimore. You know, by the way, Danny, for all the suffering the Orioles have done in recent years, that's a pretty darn good baseball team they've assembled.
Yeah, it's just over there, George. I just watched a couple innings of the Orioles and the Cubbies, and it's just great to see them get back. This is a great baseball town. And they've been dormant for 6 or 7 years. And to see the enthusiasm in a makeup game this afternoon was pretty cool. By the way, George, I'm coming to visit you guys in a couple of weeks. I'm going to be in Nashville Labor Day weekend. So just look out.
Let me know.
I promise you.
Awesome. So you know Alex Anthopoulos better than anybody we can talk to. He's had a busy couple of weeks with these signings of people, beating things to the punch, taking a little bit of a gamble that they're going to be what they look like they are. Danny, talk to me about where you think he got this strategy and how do you feel about it?
Well, for those of you watching, I worked with him for about 5-6 years in Toronto. We won a couple of really good situations. We got to the LCS consecutive years. Alex is one of the shrewdest player personnel guys I've ever been around. Respect him a great deal. What are they, 25 games over 500? I think they're going to overtake the Mets before it's all over. But I think there's a big deal here. And Watson, you know this better than anybody. When you know how to win, it makes winning when you have to a little bit easier. The people in the clubhouse, the people on the bench, the people on the field, there's a little more trust. There's a little more respect because you've been there together, and there's a little less fear. They've got great character on that club. They've added some really good people who happen to be really good players. Their manager does a heck of a job. Here they are. I think they have the third best record in the National League. I think they're going to be formidable in the postseason. They're starting to get guys back from injuries. I just think Alex looked at what he had as a club, realized they're going to be a good team in October and perhaps November. And I think they've got as good a chance as anyone, except maybe the Dodgers, to move forward in the postseason, because I think they're a better club than they were last year. I think their one-loss record proves it. But I just think there's this incredible thing on a team that's won, because the fear of winning is real. And for a team like the Mets that hasn't been in the postseason for an extended period, their nucleus is new to winning. It's not going to be an easy last month and a half of the season for the New York Mets.
So, Danny, let's, in particular, because we're in Nashville, get to the mystery behind what is going on. Let's just go ahead, Billy, if we can, and put the picture up there. The odd man out feels at the moment like Dansby Swanson, who is having a career year, has been great defensively all along, now hitting with much more consistency, has become a leader in that clubhouse. Alex, is he talking to Dansby right now and saying, hey, just relax, we're going to get to it? Or is he hanging him out as the odd man out?
Alex would never hang anybody out. He values relationships. He's a relationship builder. Part of his strength as an executive is his respect that he has in the clubhouse. It's extraordinary. He's just that guy that connects, George. It's not easy to do when you're the boss. I was in that chair. You know, you're dictating their future, and at the same time, they're a somewhat transient base. Swanson, though, is a heck of a player, has a fabulous situation in that he's proven to be one of the better players in the game. Here he is in a walk year. You know, he's not going to have a lack of interest and probably wants to stay. I think too much is put on the club and not enough is put on the player, because both sides have to decide this is the right place to be. I think in Alex's case, I'm sure he has treated Swanson with exceptional respect throughout the year. I'm sure his agent is very aware what Alex wants and what Alex would like to do. I wouldn't be surprised if Swanson came back. It's a great place to play. It's a fabulous city. They're in a good division. They have a great spring training complex. They've got a winning culture there, top to bottom. You know, George, sometimes you got to be careful what you wish for, because you leave and the grass is not always greener. I think this is a situation that, you know, we really don't know what's going on, but these are two really good people who really like being there. I think sometimes you can find a way for things to work. We don't know, and it's hard to predict, but I know one thing, knowing Alex, there's no way he has treated Swanson any other way except with unbelievable respect because of who he's become as a clubhouse leader and who he's become as a player.
Okay, I can't wait to ask this. Man, I've been 8 months holding this one back. Give me your theory on what went on with Freddy Freeman.
Oh, well, first of all, I think it's awesome how much Freddy Freeman showed his emotions. For the first few months after that whole thing happened, you know, I watch the Braves games as much as I can. I love Chip Carey and I love the team, and I root for Alex's squad, and I root for Max Fried, a longtime friend of mine. I think what happened in Freeman's case, just judging from his emotions, is that he really wanted to stay. Something didn't go right in the negotiations, whatever it is. And his agent, who I consider to be one of the greatest in the game and an even better human being, Casey Close, is awesome. I think that something happened, and it's hard when you have a player of this magnitude and the money gets big and, you know, the tax implications are what they are. It was pretty evident to me that Freddie Freeman's relationship with Atlanta, with the Braves fans, was as strong and as sincere as most of us have ever seen in the game. I thought it was a hell of a compliment, paying that homage to the fans, the city. I mean, Freeman was noticeably emotional. But I think now what we've seen is Freeman is all in with the Dodgers, and who wouldn't be? I mean, my gosh, what a great place to be. But I think whatever happened, the emotional part for Freddie hadn't been fully healed by the time he went to Atlanta. You know, if there was a mix-up, George, there was a mix-up. But I think what we had was raw emotion and a guy who ideally wanted to stay. You know, Olson's a heck of a player. A lot of people would argue Olson's a better player than Freeman. I personally wouldn't, because I think Freeman brings so much to the field in terms of character. But I thought that was shrewd as heck for Alex to have Olsen done before Freeman was done, because it allowed him to get Olsen done. And that was a spectacular signing. And here they are in mid-August, and they're an elite team again because of that move.
Watson, what do you got for Danny?
Danny, first thing to me is watching last night's game with the Mets and the Braves. I said exactly what I think I heard you say. The Braves are going to catch them. And I could see it late in that game. The Braves catch them a little bit, and I see an uptightness within the Mets. Then they jump back up 9-5, and here come the Braves again. And I'm telling you, there were some tight people down on that field. And I just think, I've said this to George, and I want to get you to comment on it. I've said, George and Billy, a confidence leads to poise. You don't have poise without confidence. And the difference right now in the Mets, and they have a great manager in Buck Showalter. He does a great job. But the Braves just have that confidence, which leads to an inner poise that they're never out of it. They're just never out of it. And I think that difference is going to make the difference, and I believe the Braves will catch them. The other thing is the Mets have had more injuries recently, while the Braves are slowly now starting to get healthy too.
Yeah, and you know what, Watson, you were down there. The manager, and I love Buck Showalter. I just love him. I just think he's such a winner. He wins everywhere he goes. He changes the culture of the team. But the players on the field are the ones who dictate the outcome of the game. Yeah. And no matter how good you are, until you've been in that environment, you really never know what it's like. You don't understand the pressure of the postseason, the pressure of the last month of the season, when, it's a different feeling. It's a different vibe. There's more at stake. Pitches mean something in the third and the fourth inning, and scoreboard watching is an elite level. Some guys react to that really well. Some guys don't. And there's a lot of guys in the in-between. The Braves won the last game of the season. And that is a feeling that cultivates a change in culture that never goes away. You think, what they did last year, what were they, 3 games under 500 right around the All-Star game, and they win the last game of the year? That's unheard of. But that team did it. And because of that, the resiliency and the expectations are different. This team knows how to win, and their core players have won. Not having Acuna for the first part of the season, there's no way they have 72 wins if he's with them all year. He's an elite 5-tool superstar. So I think what we have here is it's easier to chase than be chased, and it's even easier when the team that's being chased hasn't won. Nothing against the Mets, because they're a heck of a club. Look out in the postseason. They're going to be really tough. But Atlanta has a way about them that I just believe in them. And I think as a result, I'd be hard-pressed for me to tell you that the Mets would stay on top of the Braves through the regular season.
Second thing, Danny, that I've kind of noticed here recently is it's neat to me that I see baseball kind of going back to its traditions. Here's what I mean by it. I'm seeing these teams bring guys up from their farm systems that are great players that are changing. The Mets bring up Beatty and he hits a 2-run homer. Really, honestly, gave them the confidence to get going and win last night to me. And the Braves have done the same thing. It's neat to me to see these teams winning through their farm systems, and because that's to me how baseball was built. And on top of that, being able to say that, man, I hate to see these different places cut out of the farm systems. And is that a good thing or a bad thing on your part? But do you agree? It gets so excited when I see young players coming up through their farm systems and making a difference immediately when they walk in the door.
No question. Look at the National League. The Mets, the Braves. Take a look at the Cardinals. Take a look at the Brewers, the Dodgers, the Padres. These are all homegrown clubs. You can say all you want about the Dodgers, but the Dodgers farm system's elite. It allowed them to make the trades they've made the last few years. And I love it too, Watson. I love the homegrown talents. I think the teams that don't go that way generally watch TV a lot in October. More than ever, baseball is dependent on its minor league system, on its scouting. And the elite teams in terms of player development and scouting, those are the teams that are going to make the playoffs. You don't see too many teams that buy their way into the postseason. You don't see too many teams that don't defend and pitch well get into the postseason. And I think it's a distinct reason. I think it's really hard to be a good club, but it's even harder to be an elite club. And I think what we're seeing this year is the teams that are truly elite clubs in baseball this year play the game right, play the game fundamentally sound. I mean, it's a rewarding way to watch the game, but also it's a more consistent way to win. Watson, fundamentals in baseball, when you're playing every single day, you bring that to the perk, you got a chance to win.
Danny, man, it is good having you on and hearing some really good baseball talk. Enjoy your stay in Baltimore. Congratulations on what happened last week with the Field of Dreams, and I look forward to you coming on again soon.
Thank you, George. I'm hanging out in Baltimore with the Sabre Convention. I was appointed to the board last year, and I'll tell you what, I'm the first general manager ever named to the board, and it is truly an honor. I'm loving every minute of it.
Congratulations.
Thanks to both of you, and thanks to my friends in Nashville.
Oh, listen, it's great hearing from you. Thanks, Danny.
You got it. See you, George.
He's the best. The man knows as much baseball as any human being out there. I will put him up with anyone, including Brian Stewart.
Brian, we're setting the bar low if you're comparing to me, George.
Did you get to hear Danny much?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with what you guys were talking about with the farm system. I think that's what it's all about. Anytime you make a run, I mean, that's where you're finding that young talent, just like we have now. And I think that's why I saw an article earlier today talking about the old 90s dynasty coming back. And I can really see that with all the young generational players that we have right now. I think the Braves are set up for success for sure.
Oh, I think they are too. You keep that helmet, you keep that hat in the background. Tell me what's going on at your place.
Well, it's just getting toward the end of the week, and we're getting ready to have the something that has not happened for the last couple of years is you're starting to see more open houses on these listings. People are having to pay attention a little bit more to what they're pricing their home at. They're doing open houses. Sellers are giving concessions. Now, I say all that because now I feel like is a very good time for these buyers to get out there and possibly get a great deal on a home. The inventory has picked up. And as I said before, there's options for buyers. Whereas before they were just having to kind of, shoot their shot and try to get anything they could and settle and so forth, so on in the past couple of years. Now they can be a little more choosy and a little more picky about what they go after. Inventory's there. You just need to find the right agent that can go in there and negotiate with that seller. At the end of the day, a seller wants to sell and a buyer wants to buy. You just need somebody to basically facilitate that deal for you. I've got the agents here at One Stop Realty. I have 30 that are ready to go, take you out showing you homes this weekend. And if you're a seller, we can get your home on the market and get you the best deal possible as well. George, you can always reach us, and the audience that we can you can call us. Call us at 615-822-0750. My cell phone number is 615-440-7011. And we're at OneStopRealtyTN.com, Facebook and Instagram. We always need a like and a follow, and you're going to get great information from us.
Love it. Brian, let's do it again tomorrow.
Hey, tomorrow is high school football time, right, George?
Oh, and that means a bunch of things. It means we'll be in this building quite a bit tomorrow night.
Is Watson going to be there with us? Is that a...
Nope, but I'm liable to be at a ball game. I can tell you that.
Hey,
we'll get him to call in.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. I know Coach Watson's going to be out and about somewhere. Y'all have a great night, guys.
Thank you, Brian.
All right, bye-bye.
We'll go to the break, and when we come back, some college football news that may have gotten swept under the rug, but not on this show. Stick around. This is Main Street Media Television.
I highly recommend Sumner Funeral and Cremation because of their caring nature and attentiveness to detail.
Pre-planning your funeral now will bring you peace of mind and less stress to your loved ones. When the chaos of losing you happens, your family can honor and celebrate your life, knowing things are happening just as you wanted them to. Pre-planning determines the details of your funeral, cemetery services, and can be less expensive. We are honored to serve you and are always here for you in your time of need.
Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Traditional, affordable, dignified. SumnerFuneral.com.
When you're thinking about golf, consider Riverside Golf Links. Under new ownership, the course has improved dramatically. It's now 27 holes, complemented by a 9-hole executive course. Book a tee time now at 615-847-5074 and get ready to enjoy the beauty of golf in the Old Hickory area at Riverside Golf Links.
I'm Bart Durham.
I was sworn in as a lawyer in 1963, and I've been working as a lawyer since then.
We're a firm that does exclusively personal injury, a lot of tractor-trailer crashes. Insurance companies will open up their checkbooks when you force them to.
We have systems that work.
We get the most money for our clients in the shortest amount of time.
I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
This is Eric Berner with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors. I help people in the pursuit of making their money live as long as they do. People hire me because I use a customized, individualized, and personal approach for the person I'm working with. Everyone's situation is different. If you've lost a spouse or a parent and want to make sure your inheritance is utilized and does not just disappear, I can help with that. Call me at 615-235-1058 or email Eric at rockcastlewealth.com.
Serving Williamson and surrounding counties, Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee offers comprehensive orthopedic care with 16 subspecialized physicians. Our practice provides high-tech care with a hometown touch. We offer physician clinics, physical and occupational therapy, advanced imaging, and surgical services, including interventional procedures. Call us at 615-791-2630. We're Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee. High-tech care with a hometown touch.
Hey everyone, I'm John English. This is Keith Wallace, and we would like to welcome you to John English Antique Sports and Cards in Shelbyville, Tennessee. We specialize in graded and ungraded sports and non-sports cards, vintage wax boxes, and unopened cases. We have a large selection of PSA graded cards. We also specialize in old sports collectibles, baseball, football, basketball, golf, and tennis. You can find it all at John English Antique Sports and Cards. We are happy to be associated with Nashville's greatest sports antique, George Plaster.
At Sumner Funeral and Cremation, our mission is to serve families as our own, celebrate the life of their loved one, and help begin the healing process.
My whole family, including my wife and my mom and siblings, were very happy with the treatment that we received. I would highly recommend Sumner Funeral and Cremation.
We offer funeral, burial, cremations, and pre-planning services.
Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Traditional, affordable, dignified. SumnerFuneral.com.
We are back, and this is a story that today will get lost in the shuffle because we've had Deshaun Watson situation. We've had the Titans and the Bucks. We've had all kinds of stuff going on. But this is one that got my attention, and I'm going to read it off my trusty little phone. Any of you who think it's a flip phone, think again. There was a day in time. Well, there was a day in time that.
Can you believe you're holding an iPhone?
Well, it's now been about 3 years, but I'll tell you this, when the flip phone blew up, that was a bad day. That phone got buried. Okay. At SEC Media Days, I got to meet Pete Thamel from ESPN, who I think is a terrific reporter. Watson, he says that the College Football Playoff's Board of Managers, and I don't quite know what that means, but there are 11 of them. Mm-hmm. Apparently, they had a meeting via Zoom. I've learned what that is. And briefly discussed the possibility of restructuring how college football is governed, with the idea presented of major college football potentially being governed outside the NCAA. Well.
Ain't that what we've been talking about the first 5 weeks?
So Watson, give me some thoughts on that.
It's coming. No doubt. It's coming. I just don't know how quickly, but it's not going to be long. They got to put all of this together, George. They've got to tie these super conferences with these packages together. They've got to get this NIL worked out. They've got to get this transfer portal worked out. All of this is coming to a head, and so they're not going to wait for the NC2A. There will be one form. Excuse me.
Okay, help me with this. How does this play out? I mean, do they just simply at some point send the NCAA a letter saying, get lost? We don't need you. Adios, hasta luego. What's the machinery here?
They will, yeah. That's about the way it'll go down, to tell you the truth. We're going to do it ourselves. But they'll work through the NC2A. They'll have meetings with them. What can we do? What can we still leave in your hands through all this? They won't throw them completely out. But they're going to be the governing body. Now, the big question I think that's going to come from all this is this just a Power 5 move? Is it Power 5 and a Group of 5 move?
Don't you think it's A?
I think it's A. I think there's going to be separation. And if I'm the Group of 5, I'm not sure I wouldn't want that. Let's just go ahead and separate it. We'll have our own national championship and we'll have our own governing body. And then I think the FCS Division II, Division III will be powered by one group of people. That's where I think it's headed. And I don't think it's going to be that far away. I think it's within, I'm going to say 3 years at the most. When all this comes to play in 25, when all these new contracts and everything really start hitting, I think that'll be in place by that point.
I'll read this. The Board of Managers is made up of 11 college presidents and chancellors from each of the 10 major conferences, as well as Notre Dame president, the Reverend John Jenkins, not formerly of Vanderbilt. The group is separate from the College Football Playoff Management Committee, which had no members on the call with the Board of Managers. No. Anything there to?
No, what basically it was just brought up. Okay, guys, what do y'all think?
How does that get brought up? Does somebody on the Zoom say, hey, I want to talk about blowing them the hell out?
No, it's talked about before the Zoom. They'll get on phones and they talk, and then they say, okay, John, you bring it up and then we'll discuss it a little bit and take it from there. No, it's not just out of the clear blue. Hey, what do y'all think about this? No, it don't work that way.
You're sure?
I'm positive.
So am I.
I'm positive.
I love your reaction to it.
George,
So,
did y'all see, this is a little bit off topic, but did y'all see the Big Ten on CBS theme, the video?
No, do you have it?
I've got it. Watson might have seen it, but I'm going to put it up here. It's kind of scary watching it.
Let's hear it or see it.
Oh, geez, the music. The music.
I thought that was SEC music.
Not anymore.
You are looking live at the Horseshoe in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, gracious. The SEC is going to be ticked, man.
Oh, my God.
They're going to be ticked.
I thought it was going to show the whole video, but the video's on Twitter. You're looking at Ohio State, Michigan State highlights, and you're hearing that music.
Yeah, not a lot of Northwestern, was there?
No.
Good one, George.
Thank you. Watson, guess what?
What?
We have reached that moment.
I know.
Oh,
You're above 500.
Yes.
I saw that this morning when I got up. I looked it up to see.
I know you were thrilled for me.
I was thrilled for you.
Were you?
Well, absolutely I was. Still don't mean I don't give you a hard time, but that don't mean I don't pull for you.
Right. Okay. We'll come back with Plaster Bet of the Day. I think you're going to be a little surprised by where we go. Then again, maybe not. This is Main Street Media Television.
Have you heard about the high levels of radon in Middle Tennessee? Radon gas is the second leading cause of lung cancer, second only to smoking, and has no color, no taste, and no smell. The only way to know if you have radon is to test for it. Duret Radon Mitigation offers testing for small and large-scale residential and commercial properties, plus mitigation services. Visit DuretRadonMitigation.com to request testing or get a free estimate for mitigation. That's DuretRadonMitigation.com.
Hi, this is Melissa Hoisington, Regional Crisis Director from Volunteer Behavioral Health. Disasters can affect everything in your life, including your emotional health. Help is available during these uncertain times. The Tennessee Recovery Project is a free, supportive resource for adults and children who have experienced the effects of natural or human-caused disasters. Specialists are available for counseling by phone or in person. For free, confidential service, please call 833-954-2424. The hotline is open 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Move forward with the help from the Tennessee Recovery Project.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor-trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor-trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor-trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
Since 1865, the First Baptist Church of Gallatin on Winchester Street has served its community by catering to the least, the last, and the lost, providing a church of welcome used by God to save the lost, transform the saved, and impact its community. As a proud multi-ethnic congregation, Pastor Derek Jackson personally welcomes you to join them in fellowship Sunday mornings at 8 in person or at 1045 in person or online at firstbaptistgallatin.org. First Baptist Gallatin on Winchester Street, serving with open arms as a true church of welcome.
For Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly, they welcome every opportunity to serve and satisfy their clients. Whether you are looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and remodel is unique, luxurious, completed on time, and within budget. Contact them today to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects by logging on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
know what time it is. It's now time for Plaster's Bet of the Day as we welcome you back for the final segment of the show, and we roll into the sponsor, Bart Durham Injury Law. That is the sponsor for Bet of the Day. Of course, all these 5-6 weeks we've rolled through. George, if you too have seen your life interrupted by an injury on a highway, in a hospital, at your workplace, or on unsafe property, you should let their attorneys do the work fighting for the full financial compensation you need while you and your family focus on your complete recovery. Learn more about Bart Durham Injury Law by logging on to bartdurham.com. The big moment has come. Can George get 2 games above 500? 14-13. Got the Braves on Tuesday night. Got the Cardinals on Wednesday night. Who's he going to go with tonight? That's the big question. George, are you nervous?
First of all of you gather around your TV sets. Daddy's about to make you some money. You got that, Watson?
I got it.
Yeah. My latest whipping boy, and I'm going to read you these stats. Jake Odorizzi. Nice 3 games as a Brave, big boy. 13 2/3 innings, 22 hits, 10 runs. Go feed your gopher. Ugh. It was 4-0 before I got home. So, Watson, that leads me to this. Okay? This is a guy that's been a major league starter for years. And yet last night, when they really needed him to come up big. But you know what? Max Fried will show the Mets tonight who daddy is. I don't know if he wins or not. Jacob deGrom is about as good as it gets. But by golly, I'm going with the Braves.
There it is.
Because Max Fried is a winner. Pure and simple.
Big night. Big night for Max Fried.
It's the biggest game of the Braves year. I mean, who's kidding who? They win tonight, they're within 3.5. They lose tonight, they're down 5.5. Watson, I don't believe that they win this division if they lose tonight. I do think it's that simple.
I do not. I think I would go with this one. I think they're going to. I saw it in the Mets' eyes last night. I mean, the Braves are the confident team, but I don't think if they lose tonight, I think they're catching the Mets either way.
There is a reason the Mets pitched Edwin Diaz in the 8th inning, which is a very unusual move. But to Buck Showalter's credit, he knew exactly what Watson was saying, and that is he had to have a shutdown inning or he knew they might blow that big 6-1 lead. Yep. Watson, I don't know how it'll play out, but I have all the confidence in the world in Max Fried. I have none in Jake Odorizzi. He is.
Boy, it's not fun to get on your bad side, George.
No, he's on my list.
Fun. Ask Kyle Wright. It is not fun.
But you can get off it.
Oh yeah, you'll bandwagon in a heartbeat, man. I mean, you'll take a leap in a heartbeat.
You need to take your day off, get a nap, and come back next Monday with a better attitude.
See, Billy? See, that's what I'm talking about.
The better attitude. He loves that line.
He's got to get his little shots in before it's over, and he knows that there's no chance for me to get one back. So
I'm giving you the floor. Go.
This is the way he does right here. This is him. Wait till underdogs start. That's when you'll see the true George Plaster.
You can look out.
By the way, the panel is being put together. The first one of these will be a week from today.
I'm excited. I cannot wait for underdog.
Well, let me tell you what.
You're doing one in the first little week.
In week 0. Yeah.
Week 0.
And let me tell you, Billy's sitting there all cocky. He's the commissioner, and that doesn't work out well.
Oh, Billy, no. Billy, I'll even get on the commissioner now, so you just better get ready.
My God.
I get in some foul moods when I end up dead last. So
you're going to get trashed.
I've seen it firsthand before. I'm not excited about that commissioner role.
Guess what? We're out of here. Go Braves. Go Max Fried. This is Main Street Media Television.